Hey, good morning. This is encouragement and motivation from my heart. And I want to start out by telling you about how I decided on the theme of my classroom that I had for the last 3 years. So I was a brand new teacher, well, sort of. I hadn't taught at this school before. And I walk into the classroom, and there's curtains that are already hung up. And they were red and blue, and they had anchors on them. Like, okay, like I could, why go out and buy something else or build a theme off of something else? Why not just use the anchor? So I decided to go ahead and use the anchor theme. Over time, as I saw the different things that did come in anchors, I kind of fell in love with the whole concept and the theme. And to where our class was, the McCoy's crew, and the kids would say ahoy, to respond. And then I found that there's also even a scripture in the Bible to where it talks about an anchor, and that is out of Hebrews chapter 6, verse 19. And it says, "We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. It enters the inner sanctuary behind the curtain." Well, when I was doing my research as far as the anchor goes, because I'm still fascinated and still doing more research on it, I looked at this verse and it says, "We have this hope." Okay, so what hope is it talking about? Well, in order to find that out, you have to go back up to Hebrews 6, verse 18. Hebrews 6, verse 18 says, "God did this so that by two unchangeable things in which it is impossible for God to lie, we who have fled to take hold of the hope offered to us may be greatly encouraged." Okay, well, I love encouraging people, and hope is something that's very important for us to all have in our day-to-day lives. Well, then I started thinking, okay, well, that's the biblical part of it, but what exactly does an anchor do? I know that a boat, the anchor holds onto the boat, and it holds the boat in place to keep it from going astray. If you want to stop or something, you throw the anchor over the board. Then I was like, I wonder what Merriam Dictionary says about anchor. And that's when everything clicked. So the definition, it says a device, usually of metal, attached to a ship or boat by a cable and cast overboard to hold it in a particular place by means of a fluke that digs into the bottom. By means of a fluke that digs into the bottom. All right, before I go into that, I want to tell you what the other definition was as well. It says a reliable or principal support. Okay. Then as I'm looking down, it says, what does it mean to call someone an anchor? I guess these are things that people, Google. And it says, what it means to call someone an anchor is will support someone emotionally when they're in a time of distress. It's a metaphor that's comparing how an anchor stops a ship being driven on the rocks. Okay, so shall a person stop another becoming depressed or anxious through problems they have in their life? All right, so I'm going to pedal back for a minute, and I want to take a look at the first definition to where it says that the anchor is cast overboard to hold it in a particular place by means of a fluke that digs into the bottom. So the bottom of the ocean floor, or the lake, or whatever, so it's foundation. Okay, so an anchor digs into the foundation. So then I started thinking, okay, so what is our foundation? Each person has a foundation of which they're built upon. Well, then it goes and it says, when it talks about what does it mean to call someone an anchor. And this I kind of started doing like a little battle. To call someone an anchor will support someone emotionally when they're in time of distress. A metaphor comparing how an anchor stops a ship being driven on the rocks. I like that analogy. So shall a person stop another becoming depressed or anxious through problems they have in their life? So why is it today I'm calling this who or what is your anchor? Unfortunately, as the scripture says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but his word shall remain. Well, that means our lives are temporary, okay? People's lives aren't always going to be around. It says in the Bible in the beginning that we shall return to the same way of which we were created. Our spirit will go on, but our bodies, our physical bodies, will not. So are we placing our firm foundation, first off, in things that are temporary? Or are we placing it in something that is permanent, that will not pass away, that is written long time ago, that still holds truth and value today? Are we placing our hope and our support in an individual who's also a fallen creature? And I'm even guilty of this myself. Growing up, I tend to look to other people to help me, and I still struggle with it, to help me understand who I am and the person that I am. I looked to people to decide, whether I was liked or not. Like in high school, my favorite color was everybody else's favorite color. My favorite animal was everybody else's favorite animal. I had structured my life because I wanted so bad to fit in and so bad to be a part of something, because I was a military brat growing up, that I changed who I was based off of where I was at. And when I became a Christian, and I remember going to my grandma and I said, Grandma, I was like, I don't know who I am. Like, I know my name and stuff, but I didn't know what I liked or what I wanted to do. My grandma said, you need to begin praying and asking who it was that God made you to be. And once I started doing that, then I started taking ownership of the fact that I love monkeys, and my whole class and people who really know me know that. I love monkeys. I love the color dark purple. I'm spunky, bubbly personality, which I didn't used to be. And throughout my life, yes, I've struggled on many different things, but I've always tried to go back to the truth. And the truth that I know of is who brought me through the struggles that I had growing up and even as a teen. And sometimes we can anchor our lives by our situations or by our atmospheres or the places that we're in at that current moment in time. And when we do that, if we don't have a firm foundation, then that anchor is not going to hold. It's just going to keep on going through the bottom, the dirt. It's going to actually cause other things to come up in your life, or could cause. So today I want to challenge you, and this week I want to challenge you to find out who or what are you calling your anchor. Are you putting that pressure or that support in, if you're a kid listening to this, in your parents, in your teachers, in your friends, and even as adults? Are we relying our hope and our strength on those who are around us, or maybe those who are listening to? Who or what is your anchor? Who or what is your support to keep you from going astray? I hope this challenges you this week, and I'm going to continue doing some more research, because this is something that I need as well, because I too often struggle with this, and those who know me know that I do at times. So we'll challenge each other this week. I'd love to hear some of the value that you've gotten out of these videos, because I do it not only to encourage myself, because when I encourage others, I encourage myself as well, but also to help bring encouragement to all those who are able to listen to these. I hope you guys have a great week. And then again, this is encouragement and motivation from my heart.